the next one we're going to be using the bolster. So we're going to take the bolster, and if you don't have a bolster, you can use your blankets, and you can roll up a few blankets together, and that will make a nice large bolster. You may need a folded blanket for your head, so have that close by just in case. And we're going to come down onto the bolster so it's across our upper back. Okay, you can always watch me first and then do it afterwards, but at the same time we'll do it together. I'll be with you. So you're going to curl back, and as you curl back here, when you come down, what you want to make sure of is that your upper arm bones are not on top of the bolster like this, right? Go back far enough that the upper arm bones are just releasing off the bolster and down towards the mat. That way you can open your arms out and you create this really nice opening in your upper back. Now same thing here with the head, like we did before. Use your hands at the back of your skull and press your head back against your hands. And then if the head comes down easily, you can slide your fingers out and open your arms out to a T. Now the legs are straight here, so flex the feet and spread the toes as if you're standing at the top of your mat. Begin to draw energy from your feet up and engage the leg muscles. So we call this muscular energy, right? Hugging the leg muscles to the bones. And then using the strength of your leg muscles now to turn the top of your thighs in. Pressing the inner thighs down more. Good. Now, another quick note for the head and the neck here. If, when you came back, your head did this, right? Where you're throwing your chin way back, then you're going to need something underneath your head. So make sure you place a blanket underneath your head so you can maintain the integrity of your neck with the rest of your spine. Good. Now close your eyes. Keep the legs and the arms active. Spread the fingers. Draw from the fingertips and plug the arm bones more securely into the shoulder sockets. Keeping the body gently engaged, then at the same time, find a softening. At the same time, can you allow your skin to soften? Keep the breath flowing. Feel the heart gently opening. Allow the upper back to relax, to soften over the bolster. Good. Now slowly you're going to bend your knees and place your feet flat. And then bring the soles of the feet together, letting the knees open. Supta Baddha Konasana. Okay, now you're going to take the elbows, hold one elbow in each hand, and slowly take your arms back towards the floor behind you above your head. Gently press them down. Now feel this lengthening from the sides of your waist up into your armpits. And breathe. And receive the pose. And then slowly open your arms, draw your knees together, take your time as you roll over to your right side to come up. Just going slowly here. Okay, so next we're going to come up to stand. Okay, and we're going to practice 3 slow sun salutations with a little bit of extra focus on the cobra pose, on the heart opening part of that. Okay, so come on up to the top of your mat and stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. Separate your feet about hip width distance apart so it feels like a more stable base. Right? And then from here, make sure the feet are parallel, spreading the toes, lifting up from the arches of your feet. Take a moment to press the top of your thighs back, and then lengthen the tip of your tailbone down, lifting from your pelvic floor, lifting from your core. Turn the palms forward, open the chest, take an inhale, slow inhale as you sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, fold over and down. You can bend your knees here on the first one, really lengthening the belly over the thighs as you come down. Relax the head and neck here. Then with either bent knees or straight legs, place the hands at the top of the top of the shin, and lift your chest to lengthen your spine forward. Good. Now step your feet back and come to plank pose. Pause in plank, lifting up the top of your thighs. Lengthen your tailbone just like you did in Tadasana to engage your core, and then begin to move your shoulders forward. You can bring knees down if you need to, bend the elbows and slowly lower yourself down. Now first cobra here, I'm going to do it on the fingertips. So take the fingertips to the wood floor on the sides of the mat here and let your forehead rest. Internally rotate the top of both thighs. Lengthen your tailbone and begin to slowly come up to cobra pose. Now as you come up, I want you to leave your head hanging down and see if you can peel your belly and your ribs back first. Then roll your shoulders back and slowly lift your head. Now find the breath, and on your exhalation, can you soften your upper back? Right where the bolster was. Can you soften your upper back and open the heart a little more? Drawing the shoulders back. Then exhale slowly to come down. Press back. You can just go to your hands and knees, and let's take our first downward facing dog. So as you come to your down dog, as always, let's bend the knees first. Keeping the knees bent, then slightly bend the elbows to the side, and then can you lift your armpits up? Lift your armpits, moving them towards the front of the room, the front of your mat, right? And then pressing the top of your thighs back. So you're really getting this deep release of your spine as you do your first down dog. We'll keep the knees bent here. Just take 3 more breaths. Armpits lifting, top of the thighs pressing back. So it feels like traction in your spine. Then slowly walk forward to your hands, top of your mat. Hands go to the shins, lift the chest, lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep your arms out. Keep the spine long as you come all the way up to stand. Exhale and release. We'll do 2 more like this. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold over and down. Inhale, hands to the shins, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plank pose. Lower forward and all the way down. Fingertip cobra again. Rest your forehead at first. Lengthen the tailbone, come up, let the head hang down at first. Roll your shoulders back and then slowly lift your head. Now stay again and soften. Let the elbows soften and move the back of your heart towards the front of your heart. Press the head back as if you were pressing it against your hands. Slow breath here. Then exhale, come on down. And press back to downward facing dog. Same thing again. Start with bent knees. Armpits lifting. And then this time, can you keep the integrity of your spine? So what I mean by that is that we don't go like this. Right? We don't straighten the legs and then round the back like this. Okay? So we start with the bent knees so that we can lengthen and realign the spine. Now, as you press the top of your thighs back, can you keep the spine in good alignment? Now, it's going to be much harder to straighten the legs, right? Maybe you take 5 breaths to get there. Keep the lift of the sit bones and the lift of the armpits. Now, full breath here. Whether your knees are bent or straight, keep the spine alignment as your priority. And then walk forward to your hands. Hands go to the shins. Lift the chest and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out and come all the way up. Exhale and release the arms. One more round. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold. Long, slow exhale. Inhale, lift the chest halfway. Exhale, plank pose. Lower all the way down. One more time, cobra on fingertips. Lengthen the tailbone, draw the belly and ribs back, leave the head hanging down, and then right at the last moment, let the head lift. Stay and soften your upper back. Exhale, come on down. And press back to downward facing dog. Same thing, start with bent knees. Either keep the knees bent or slowly begin to work towards straightening the legs without losing the integrity of your spine, right? It's also not about trying to get your heels down. The heels can stay slightly lifted, and then instead lift the sit bones, lift the groin. Good, walk forward to your hands, top of the mat. Hands go to the shins, inhale, lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out and come all the way up. Exhale and release. Good. Okay, hair's a little all over the place. So let's take a high lunge on each side. Get the legs going a little bit more, right? So again, come to your top of your mat, and you might need blocks here. So place them on each side of your mat, okay? Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale and fold. Lift your chest, and then with the blocks, if you need them, I'll show you with the blocks, bring them onto the mat and step your left foot back. So now you're in a high lunge position. Lift your back heel up, lift your back thigh up. Open your chest. Press the outer right hip down and try to tone this outer right hip as you lift your inner left thigh up. Then transfer the hands to the front thigh. Push with your hands into your thigh to come up slowly, lifting from your core. Now, interlace the fingers on the back of the skull. Press the elbows back. Press the head back into your hands, and then slowly raise your arms up alongside your ears. Full breath here. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step the back foot forward, top of your mat. Inhale, lift the chest halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand in between. Exhale and release. Let's do the second side. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Good, now use your blocks again, right foot back. High lunge. Lift up the back heel, so the heel is above the ball of your foot. Sit down more into the front thigh and press the outer left thigh hip down. And can you tone your outer left hip as you lift your inner right thigh? Transfer the hands to the front leg. Try not to let this back leg buckle. Keep it strong as you push with your hands to come up. Lifting from the core. Interlace the fingers. Again, hands to the back of the skull. Press your head back to curl back. Slowly extend the arms up alongside the ears. And breathe. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step your back foot forward. Lift your chest. Exhale and fold, move the blocks away. Inhale, sweep the arms out and come all the way up. Exhale and release. Good. Okay. So next pose is Supta Virasana. So some of you may need props. Some of you don't need props. Okay. I'm going to teach it the way I do in class, which is as if you are needing props, and then you can always adjust accordingly, okay? So we'll put the bolster there, and then we'll use one block in front of the bolster. And then we'll use the blankets on top of the bolster to create a second one. So it raises up a little bit higher. Now again, this is where you will adjust and use whatever height you need. Okay, so that's what we're going to lay back on. Another option to add to this for more height would be to take a couple blocks, right? Or even just one here and raise that up even a little higher. So you can stack this thing as high as you need it to be, okay? So now we're going to sit in a kneeling position on the block. So now as I sit, I'm going to just show you this from the front so you can see what's happening. So when I sit, I don't want my legs to be way out like this. Okay, I want my legs to be close and just a very small gap between the thighs. So I'm not trying to squeeze my knees together, just a little small gap between your thighs. Then you're going to do a manual inward rotation with your hands. Grab the thigh with both hands and turn it in. Each thigh like that. So the top of the thighs are rolling in and the inner hips, the groin, is releasing down. That is so key, so important here before you go back. In a moment you're going to lay back on that bolster. What we don't want is this. Right? We don't want your legs to splay out and you can't go back like that. It's not what we want. We want to keep this foundation as we go back. So when you go back, your legs are doing this, you need more height underneath your back so that you can do it properly. Remember, everything we do in our practice is done based on maintaining the integrity of the alignment. So if we compromise the alignment in order to go deeper into a pose, That's how we hurt ourselves. Okay? So when you have this foundation and you say, I'm not going to compromise that, now you're being very truthful with your body, and that's how you progress gradually and safely over time. Okay? So whatever height you need, you're going to sit in front of your bolster and your folded blankets. Sometimes in class we have 3 bolsters stacked, right? So whatever you need, place it there. Do the adjustment of your thighs, and then slowly take your hands back and start to lower yourself back gently onto the bolsters. So now you feel a big stretch in your thighs, big opening there. Top of the thighs rolling in. You can take your arms and stretch them overhead. Press the toenails down and squeeze your ankles in towards your outer hips. And breathe here. We'll take 10 slow breaths. You can keep the arms overhead, holding elbows again, or bring the arms down by the sides if it feels better for you. Okay? 10 slow breaths. Keep the top of the thighs turning in. Lengthen the tailbone. So that you feel your core is engaged as you go back. Okay, slowly release your arms. Excuse me. Use your hands and prop yourself up. Good. Okay, we've got 2 more things. We're going to come up to stand, and we're going to take a standing back bend. So don't be scared, right? It won't be a huge one, but we'll just use the actions we've been working on to apply that standing now. So stand in the middle of your mat and have your feet parallel to each other. Now turn the top of the thighs in, right? Just like you did a moment ago in your Supta Virasana, reclining hero pose. Now keep this action. Let's put the block between the thighs. Right? This is a great tool to help you to engage in this action of hugging the block, okay? Hugging the midline. So squeeze the block now, and then can you push the block back with your thighs, right? So this is pushing the block forward, okay? You can see what happens. My whole back collapses here. My shoulders go forward. This is squeezing the block and pushing it back. So now I'm going to keep pressing that block back as I lengthen my tailbone down and lift up from the core. That is key. To feel that you've got your core and your legs to support you as you go back. Now, from here, you're going to inhale and shrug your shoulders way up towards your ears. Roll them back and walk your hands back towards your sacrum. Okay? You're going to keep squeezing the block and pushing it back, and then let the tailbone start to come forward. Okay? So I'm pressing my tailbone forward, but I'm pushing the block back. Then I'm going to lift the chest, allow the throat to open slightly without throwing my neck back. So I'm not going to do this. Right? Keep the neck in good alignment, and then lift your chest way up towards the sky. Draw the shoulders back and breathe here. Keep the legs strong and rooted. Inhale and come on up to stand. Release your arms by your sides. Pause for a moment and feel. Good. Okay. We'll do it one more time, and then we'll come down to the knees and practice Ustrasana, camel pose. So squeeze the block. Turn the thighs in to push the block back. Lengthen your tailbone down. Lift from your belly and start to let your tailbone press your hip points forward. You have to let your hips come forward here. Then shrug your shoulders up towards your ears and walk the hands back towards your sacrum. Good. Now keep pushing the thighs back and the tailbone forward, lifting the center of your chest up. Open the throat without throwing the neck back. And breathe here. Push the block back. Keep your legs very powerful and strong. And then root down and come on up. And breathe. Pause and breathe. Okay, so last thing here, we'll come down, we'll keep the block, and we'll come down and practice on the knees. So it's that everything is exactly the same, but on your knees, okay? So we'll still just work with the hands on the sacrum. We're not going to try to reach for the heels today, okay? So put the block between your thighs and squeeze it. Push it back. Same thing, feel the thigh bones moving back first. It's going to feel like you're untucking the pelvis. Keep that, but now lengthen your tailbone down and press the hips forward as you push the block back. Shrug your shoulders toward your ears, draw the shoulders back and lift your chest. Good, now breathe here, broaden your collarbones. Breathe into the sides of your chest. Lift your heart. Inhale, come on up slowly. Good. Take the block away and sit down on your heels. Close your eyes for a moment. One more of these to finish. Put the block between your thighs. Tuck your toes under. Bring your hands to your hips. Squeeze the block. Push the block back. Lengthen your tailbone and press the hip points forward as you push the block back. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. Draw them back and walk your hands towards your sacrum. Lift your chest, lift your chest. And then root down to rise up. Take the block away. Again, sit down on your heels and pause. Thank you for joining me, you guys. It's been a real pleasure sitting here in front of the phone, teaching for you. I know you're out there, I know you're receiving this, and I know we're all in this together. So please leave comments below. Please let me know if there's anything you would like for me to teach in these coming weeks, anything specific. This is also a donation-based class, so I'm going to leave my Venmo and PayPal addresses underneath the video, and of course I'm offering this class freely, but if you feel that you're able to donate, that would be hugely appreciated at this time. Okay, thank you, and I will see you all really soon. Namaste.